Todd is not only a remarkable, successful 30-year titan in business with having multiple businesses that generate multiplied millions of dollars.
And if that plan happens to be to build $1 million company, which I can help you do.
But he's humble. He's a man of God. He's a family man.
The world's news organizations are built on everything but positivity.
He is an influential entrepreneur and business speaker for over 30 years.
I've got to forecast. I've got to pronounce. I've got to project. I've got to share with you my ideas, my vision, and my goals for not only myself, but for you.
That's why he came up with his incredible concept of taking and creating a platform for people that are wired differently.
And you got to understand that your habits of your person and your habits of your business and your habits of your spirituality have to lead to the North Star of who you are. We need to figure out who we want to be in life.
Oh, it's time. It's on like Donkey Kong. It's Friday. Come on now, somebody. Let's get it on. I got to tell you, this morning is obviously extra special. It's always extra special. I had a lot of time this morning. I got up early. Again, obviously, I do this every morning. I think you guys know the routine. I'm super excited to talk to you about the secret move, this thing that's going to change your life, something that I've done my entire business career. You know, I'm super, super excited to share this with you. And I got all this stuff here I wanted to go over with you. And I ran out of time to start the promo. I gotta tell you, man, let's just get real. This whole thing of Wire Differently has become like a life-consuming thing for me. And I think that's part of the success of any successful person is that the project, the mindset, the time, this idea of how to be successful becomes almost obsessive. And so I really want to make sure that I not only prepare you to become successful by becoming a version of obsessive, but I also want to warn you against this idea of becoming obsessive. But there's a difference between being obsessive and there's a difference between being of routine. There's a difference between being overboard, overly obsessive, and actually changing your life to make it work for you versus the world working for you or against you. You know, the biggest concept of the whole Wired Differently movement is this idea of us taking control of our own mindset, right? We are the ones that decide what's going to go in our mind, in our conscious thoughts, in our subconscious, and then create the outcome for us. It's not like something you've never heard of before, but it's literally our thing. It's called Wired Differently. It's this idea of taking these gifts that God has given us, these neurons and these brains and the subconscious, and the science of the gospel, right? The science of the brain and how God made us and making work for us versus against us. And that's really the Wired Differently edition. That's really how you're going to become successful in life. That's really how you're going to make a difference in other people's lives. That's really how you're going to let God in your life and move through your life, is to understand that your will and his will need to triangulate, and then your will be done. It'll be a convergence of wills, and we're going to move through life successful. But we can't deny the fact that there's things in this business world that we want to make sure that we're doing correctly to make our lives profitable. And you say, Todd, why do you got to talk about money? And I'm like, I don't talk about money that much. I mean, literally, we just had a internal staff meeting with everybody, and it was like, I don't know, it wasn't a fight, but there was definitely some. You know, we weren't all on the same page. We're like, I don't want to focus on money. I want to focus on being successful. Well, we need certain things at the top of the funnel, my team says, to get more people involved. And I don't disagree that we need a larger funnel at the top to get people in, to help them understand what we want to teach them and help them get to the point of buying a book or coming to the Tiki Hut retreat or coming to the virtual Tiki Hut retreat. It's all a business, right? I mean, I'm in a business. I don't want to let you down by telling you that I'm in a business, but I also want to pump you up and let you know that I'm in a business. I am your business coach. My business of being a business coach is a business. but yet I'm still the man in the arena, right? I'm just on the verge of buying 2 more organizations and retooling them, right? And making them fit into the path of the model that I have in my mind for our business model and our team and how we're going to continue to go forward. I mean, that is this idea of business. So listen, man, when you hear me talk to you about helping you program or build you personally, build you spiritually, and build you properly, don't get it wrong. It's all a business. It's all damn business. And it's not a dirty word. It's just not. And so I've got 2 concepts I want to give you this morning. I got 2 fundamental concepts I really think it's very important that you understand, because I want you to be successful. I want you to understand like some of the secrets I have. And like a secret is, I think, something that you may not know that I'm doing that makes me successful. But it's not a secret to anybody that asks me, right? It's not a secret. I mean, I'm not trying to keep it a secret. And so the word is one of those search words or one of those words that gets people to click in or clickbait or whatever, and millionaire and all that. I get it. We got to do all that, Chad. I know, Chris, we got to do all that. But I just want to remain genuine. My man, Billy, he's like, yeah, just preach the word, God. Just preach the word, Todd. I know that it takes my will and God's will to go in the same direction. And so it's very important that you understand when I'm coaching you every morning. I don't know that anybody, literally, I want you guys to search out there for me. You guys have been great to me, and there's a lot of followers. Yesterday was phenomenal. This is growing very fast this morning as well, too. But how many coaches out there are going live every morning, basically 5 days a week? New content. I dare you to find a business coach, any coach out there, that's committed the first half hour every day to you, right? And so I want you to understand that part of what I'm going to tell you today is this idea of discipline and routine that I have to, as your coach, I have to, as your mentor, I have to, as someone that you're looking up to in one way, shape, or form. And hopefully it's in your spiritual growth, personal growth, and your profitable growth. But from a business perspective, I have to, I believe, be the man in the arena, right? I have to, I believe, be the man who's not only coaching and giving you value, but I have to be also the person that's making a business out of my coaching business, right? I can't just say I'm a business coach and then not be profitable as a business coach or an entrepreneur or a business person. I mean, that would be counterproductive. I mean, why would you use somebody that isn't profitable in the craft that they're teaching you? And so one of the things I do for you this morning, and I know we're 8 minutes into this, and I want to get you to this secret. It's not a secret. That's when we get started. It's not a secret. I'm going to give it to you for free. It's not a secret. It's just this idea of what is the key thing that I have done in my life, in my business career, my athletic career, in my personal and my spiritual career that has made me successful time over time over again. Matter of fact, this move has been so good for me. That's literally saved my life. And we're going to get to it, and I'm not holding out on you. I just want to make sure that you understand that the importance of what we're about to talk about is very rudimentary. And I got to apologize because I had an image I wanted to download, and I wanted to show it to you before we got started. But I think I can do this without showing you the image. I don't know if I can actually get into the system. Let's see how tricky I am. With everything that we got here going on right now. Maybe I'm good enough to pull it up. Good morning, everybody. This is Todd Saylor, Wired Differently. Good morning. Good morning. I did it. I pulled up the image. And so what I want to talk to you about this morning, congratulations to me. I'm multitasking here. So here's the thing I want to talk to you about. The very thing I want to talk to you about this morning is a simple program evaluation review technique. I want you to understand the simple thing I learned in my first year in college that literally changed my life from business, life, and relationships. It's silly, and it's called a PERT diagram. And then this PERT diagram, I'm going to explain to you how I look at things in life, leads me to what I would call the least common denominator. Now, most of us know what a least common denominator is. It's the multiple of multiplication factor, the least common denominator that can be divisible into a number, right? Like 10 can be divisible into 100, but the least common denominator of 100 is not 10. The least common denominator of 100 is 2. And so I want to give you this PERT evaluation program, this program evaluation review technique, and I want to combine it with this grenade pin called the least common denominator. So I'm going to take these two. They're not secrets. They're just what goes on in my head, and I want to coach you and share with you on how to look at things in life. And then at the end, we're gonna obviously always tie God into this process. But I can remember being, I don't know, it was high school, and I had these projects to do in school, and we didn't have a lot of work to do in high school. I don't remember high school being all that hard. I mean, I remember getting through classes. I had homework, but not a lot until I got into lit and some of those things. Math, I didn't love math. The hardest thing I had to do was learn, I think, algebra, and I had a great teacher by the name of Chuck Digert, and he held me over in school one day. He says, Todd, you're not going to be, you need algebra. Of all the math, you've got to figure out algebra. And he made me stay after school. One day, he was just so committed to me. I wrote this in one of my books, that he made me stay. I couldn't go to any practice. I stayed, and we stayed till probably 6 o'clock that night until I learned how to do the fundamentals of algebra. Now, I'm not going to teach you algebra this morning, but I'm going to teach you the idea of learning principles and concepts and how we can actually take some of these things and move them into our life and actually make them work for us, regardless of whether you go to college or high school. You have to have formulas in life. And how do you balance, 14 to 16 companies? How do you balance all these things? How do you initiate projects? I mean, your entire life is going to be full of projects, right? You're going to have to do a project. You have to go and accomplish something in life. And so one of the earliest things I learned in college right away that has stuck with me my whole life is this diagram called the PERT diagram, right? And the PERT diagram is called a program evaluating review technique. PERT, program evaluating review technique. Write that down, everybody, write it down. Program evaluation review technique. Because I'm gonna teach on this right now, and I'm gonna talk to you about like how this is gonna work in your life. It's a simple thing, but I want you to master the PERT diagram. The PERT diagram has changed my life. The PERT diagram has saved my life. This PERT diagram, this flow chart, if you will, this management flow chart, right, that plans and identifies starts and end dates of a project and in between how everything works, right? This is how I want you to see things in your life. Because I think we learn about a lot of things, but then when we get out of the classroom and we get done studying and we get done to good morning, everybody, so many viewers, I do not know what's going on with this show, but we have followers like crazy. I'm blessed. But so you guys are just joining right now. We're talking about life. We're talking about success. We're talking about how you're going to move through life and how you're going to take a simple programming technique, right? An operational programming technique that planners identify to start and identify things and putting it into your real life decision-making skills. Because this PERT diagram, generally you get on a whiteboard or you get a board and something, and then you literally draw all the charts, and I'm going to tell you how to do all that. But one of the things I'm going to tell you is that the idea of this PERT diagram is once you get it in your head, you're literally going to move through life understanding things now in this box mentality. You're literally going to be able to transition projects on the fly, decisions on the fly. What makes sense now decisions versus much makes sense later decisions. And then last but not least, I'm going to give you this linchpin or this grenade pin that you pull out. And this is the least common denominator that you pull the pin and you activate this PERT diagram mentality. So what I'm trying to show you, what I'm trying to explain to you today is when you take your mindset and you take the decisions in your everyday life, your business life, your spiritual life, and you obviously look at it as a PERT diagram, a program evaluation review technique, then you're going to be able to make decisions quickly on the fly and it's going to make sense. So here's the thing with the PERT. Good morning, everybody. Here's the thing with the PERT diagram. I'm going to tell you that it's a planner to identify start and end dates. It helps you define what a critical path would be, or a critical path method for creating a project. And so when you think about anything in your life, you need a start and you need an end time. But a lot of us just get in. I'm coaching a lot of you out there right now, and most of the time I love my job. Most of the time I do. But a lot of you out there are going to say, yeah, Todd, we love you too most of the time. But here's the thing. This program evaluation review tool, this PERT diagram, from now I'm going to say PERT. I want to say all those words. This PERT diagram is going to let you take your problems, your associations. So the solution to all your problems is a plan, right? And so we want to create a plan. And the plan literally needs to be able to be developed in your head as you create and go through processes. And so the PERT diagram, when it first hit me in college, was we had to put together a plan. We had to pick a start date and an end date. So just think about that in your mind. Anything that you do has to have a start date and an end date. Any project, every mindset, any problem you have to solve literally starts at some time and it finishes at another time. And so this PERT diagram is something I want you to understand. This is what you do when you look at a problem. Everything in your life, it can be handled by a plan. You have to have a plan. Even if it's a health situation, you have to have a plan to go to the doctor. If it's a financial situation, you have to have a plan to go to a coach. You have to have a plan to go to the bank. You have to go to plan. Anything, any problem, anything that needs to be resolved in your life deserves a plan, needs a plan. And as minimally as you have a plan, you're going to start to feel better. Even if the plan isn't sure if it's going to work, at least the plan is resided in your head. And when you have that plan in your head, now you have to get to the PERT diagram, right? You have to get to this program evaluation review technique. This technique basically starts like this. We create boxes along the fringe, and you know what? I'm going to pull one up right now. As I talk and yap at you guys, I'm going to show you exactly a PERT diagram. And I have the skills because I've already got the one thing pulled up I wanted you to see. Here's an example of a PERT diagram, just so you can visualize it, okay? I want you guys to actually kind of understand these nodes and these action items and these flows. And so this is an example of a PERT chart. Like, so in these boxes, you have a beginning and you have an end date. And these boxes are these nodes, and those boxes are called nodes. And in each one of these boxes, you would put an activity or an action. Right. And so what I want you to think about is in the beginning of any process, right, a lifetime or a project, there's a beginning and there's an end. And then in between, there's all these things that have to get done in your project. And this is how we look at our life. This is how we look at our business. This is how we look at projects, a beginning and an end. And then we decide what has to happen in these projects, right, in a sequence of orders to make us work profitably. I got another one here that's going to help you out. Check this one out. And so the reason I'm beating this up here is because I want you to start to look at everything this way. When it comes to a problem and to solve it, we need to say, okay, how are we going to solve this problem, Todd? How are we going to move through this problem, Todd? How are we going to start and stop? How long is each activity going to take? So what I do when it comes to a project resolution in my head, like I'm going to go back and meet with Abby today. We're working on the Tiki Hut Retreat virtual event, October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. It's going to be amazing right here out of this project, out of this forum here, the studio here at the EDC in Angola, Indiana. We're going to lay out the project. So here's the thing. Here's why it saved my life. And here's how it's made me millions, is because every business I've ever started had a beginning and an end. It had a plan. It didn't necessarily have a formal, what you would call a business plan, but I always had a project plan. And inside of PayServe systems, we have projects, right? And so here's what I'm going to have a little bit of fun with you right here. So if you look at this PERT diagram right here, I thought, how could I take my morning day and put it into a simple little project and put it into a tool set or project set so you can see how something very simple works in a PERT diagram, right? The PERT diagram is designed for a start and a finish, and then all the things in between, we line them up and we figure out how long it's going to take for each one of them in each section or each activity, and then we put them in the proper order so we're not wasting time. We're making a time efficient project managing tool here, right? Our critical path method is done, and then we take the critical path method of beginning to end, and then we put it in the right orders of time management, right? There's certain things you can be doing while other certain things are gestating, right? And that's what a PERT diagram does. And so I know this is going to be long here, but when we're done with this piece right here and we get done 20 minutes into you're going to be able to look at anything without even basically putting the timeline together. You're going to look at about anything, right? Anything, and you're going to see it in your head. Okay, I need to start here and finish here. This is going to take this amount of time. This is going to take this amount of time. This is going to take a lot longer. But if I start now, it's going to take this overriding period. And while that's in the oven, I can be working on something else like doing the baking or getting the frosting made or something of that nature, right? Thank you for all your followers. And so here's what I want you to understand. This PERT diagram is a time management tool from beginning to end, evaluating the tasks in between and putting them in the right order so we're not wasting any time. Something's always getting done while something else is baking or gestating. So, and then at the very end, there's this one thing called the least common denominator that I'm going to give you. And it's going to say, okay, what creates this plan? What makes it explode? Right? Now, you say, Todd, you're getting a little too excited about a silly little project, because I'm telling you, man, this is something that's going to change your life. Chris and Abby and Chad, you got to think a little bit like me on this. You got to make sure that you're not wasting time. Like, think about this. Some of us spend 2 hours a day driving back and forth to work. You could be doing something that's the perfect example of what happens in a PERT diagram. We know we got to go from distant A to distant B, but while we're doing that, what else can we be doing in that trip? Can we be listening to Todd Wired Differently? Can we be listening to something that's going to grow us in our craft, in our workplace? That's a perfect example of a physical idea of how the PERT logic will think about this to us. But most of you come to me with a problem. Most of you come to me like, I got a problem in my business. I got a partner. I got a product problem. I've got all these things going on, and I can't resolve them because I'm looking at all these things at once. Slow down. Break out the whiteboard, the pen and paper. Create the PERT diagram. Where are we starting? Where are we ending? What do we have to do in between to get it done? And how long is it going to take for each of these things in between to get it done? Boom, now we got a plan. Then we're just down to this piece where we got to execute it. And so I thought I'd have a little fun with you, because I wrote this in my head. I put it together, and I'm like, what do I do on a regular basis every morning that could show you how the PERT diagram? Now, I know if my wife's watching, she is going to. Actually, she's going to say, good job, Todd. She's going to say, this is true. She's going to say, Todd does these things. And I brought in these things every morning that I do. And I thought that you guys could have a good laugh at this. So here's what I'm saying. So we looked at a PERT diagram. This is the beginning and this is the end. Here's a diagram, another PERT diagram, beginning, and this is the end. The viewers on this is off the hook. You're going to love this. Thank you very much. ToddSaylor.com. Get there, my friends. This is an example of the PERT diagram, the PERT way of thinking, right? This program evaluation review technique. This is how I need you to look at your problems. This is how I need you to plan to solve your problems. And this is how I need you to execute them. And you're going to, once you see this train of thought, when you look at anything, you're not going to have to do this by hand. You're just going to process it in your brain. Right? You're going to process it in your brain immediately, and you're going to work things out. So this morning, this is my PERT diagram of my morning routine. Now, this is funny. Some of you are going to find it. So I have to moisturize. I literally have 3 moisturizers. And so if you look to the far left, you can see this. And this is my face cleanser. I know. Come on. When you're like pushing 60 like me and you got all this bald head and everything, and you're going to be on the Facebook every now and then, you got to take care of your face and your skin. So the first thing I do in the morning is I have to, after I get out of the shower, I have to cleanse my face. And so that's the first thing I do. That's the start of my face process. So the first thing I do is right here. You see the far left of this PERT diagram, you can see that I cleanse with this cleanser. Now, while the cleanser is drying on my face, I scrub it and, wash it in the shower. Then I come out and I take a pad and I use the cleanser on my face, right? Let me see if I can get over here. Let's see how we can do this. Well, I use this cleanser on my face and I'm letting it dry. I know I've got other things to do, because at the end of the project, the last thing I do is put on my eye cream, like the special eye cream. I know some of you men are like, what is he doing? Why is he selling? Listen, man, grooming, you got to take care of yourself. So anyways, this is the last thing. So this is all the way at the end, and you can see it's very at the end. So the first thing I got to do is do the cleanser. So while the cleanser's drying and doing what it's doing, I got to wait. So I can't just go right into my second move, which is my first moisturizer. It's called HA5. This stuff is great stuff, but I can't go right into that because I've got to let my face dry. So while my face is drying, I don't want to waste any time, right? So while my face is drying, I can't just stand there and do nothing while my face is drying. So while my face is drying, I want to use that amount of time, right? I trim up here a little bit. Oh, here a little bit. Do my ears a little bit, right? So my face is drying, and so then I trim with the trimmer. So now that I'm done doing that quick move of trimming, now my face is finally dry. Then I take my next moisturizer, which is this one. Now my face is ready because I took the time to let it dry and to cure, and I spent that time while it was curing by using my razor in my PERT diagram, right? And so now I take the moisturizer, and I take this moisturizer and I take it and I put a little water on it, and I put it on my forehead. I put it on my eyes. I put it under my eyes. I put it on my nose. I put it everywhere. I put it on my neck. Great moisturizer. And so while that's seeping in, right? Well, that is seeping in and doing its moisture. I need to let that dry, but I don't want to waste that time. I know I don't want to waste that time. So now I take out my second razor, and my second razor is this Gillette. Now, listen, I've already shaved the top of my head, but here's what's got to happen is I got to come in here, and I've got to, and I can do it by feel, I've got to shave right around here and get this. And I shave right around here because I want to get this tight because I can't do that in the shower. And I come here and I make sure that all of this is done up here in my face, and my lines are perfect, right? And so while I'm doing that, my face is drying from this, right? And so when I come back, now my face is dried, and now I can move in and do the most important piece of my curing. This is this recipe called advanced serum, right? And this advanced serum is now my face has been cleaned, it's been moisturized, and it's been cured, and it's dry. And now I can move in and I can take this baby and I double pump it, right? I put it right in my hand, and two pieces come out, and I mix it together, and then I take it and then I put it under here, and I put it under here, and I put it here, I put it here, and I put it here. And this serum is healing my skin. It's rebuilding cells in my skin, right? Well, because I couldn't do that until I got through the other stuff. Like, follow me with this. This is crazy. I know, but this is the secret of life, right? The PERT diagram, right? The program evaluation review technique. It's all done live action in little things and big things. If we can learn it in little things, then we can make it in big things. And then last but almost not least, after I put on the serum, right? We put on the serum, we move over here, and while the serum is drying, which takes the most amount of time because it's almost like a damn lacquer, right? I brush my teeth. Well, I gotta go about 2 minutes to brush my teeth. My wife goes for, I don't know, she goes for like 3 minutes. You gotta brush your teeth. Well, I might as well be brushing my teeth while the serum is drying because I can't do anything with my face until this serum is seeped in, it started to cure and do the things it needs to do. Well, I got time, so I'm brushing. Well, now I'm done brushing my teeth. After that 2 minutes, the serum is perfectly cured, and then I'm ready for the last piece. And that is just a dab, just literally a little dab of eye cream. All right, now listen, that is a program evaluating review technique. That is called a PERT diagram in action. And I'm listen, Chad, I know you're going to give me a lot of grief over this manscaping stuff. And Chris, I know that you think that I'm like this manly man, but at the end of the day, I'm so confident. Toothpaste and coffee. I'm so confident in myself that I'm willing to show you the PERT diagram example of my morning routine, because I just don't think there's a better example. And so here's the thing. We're into this. I want you to know how important you are to me. I want you to know how important it is for me to share these Wired Differently life hacks with you. It's so important for me to share all the cool things that can make us successful. But here's the deal, man. This PERT diagram is going to change your life, because the execution side of this is going to play out. Because we need to understand that the little things in life, are just the beginning and as important as some of the big things in life. And I need you to understand that, as silly as today's show was, it really went fast, that this idea of lining up and organizing your projects, your problems, and your solves are the key to life. And why does the PERT diagram save my life? Well, the PERT diagram saves my life because it keeps me from going into depression. Why does it save my life? Why can it save you? Because it can keep you organized. It can keep you this place to go when you feel like there's nowhere else to go. You know, God talks about this in Psalm 31:24. I got it right here. Be strong and take heart, all you who hope in the Lord. That God is the ultimate PERT diagram, because the PERT diagram is where I want you to go to solve your problems. Well, the PERT diagram is this beginning plan, beginning end, and action points in between that you can now take a snapshot on, and with a blink of an eye, now you can know exactly how this has to go. But more importantly, we know that in my PERT diagram this morning, nothing started until I was cleansed. That was the beginning. I can't begin my day. The grenade pin is the cleansing. I know where I got to start. I know where I got to end. And now I have the path there, but I cannot start anything. I can't have, because the cleansing, it starts at the beginning and it stays in the project all the way across my face. It goes the whole bandwidth of the project. So the beginning of the end is the cleansing. Listen, God wants you cleansed. I want you cleansed. I know this is hokey, but at the end of the day, the PERT diagram is so perfect for us. In the least common denominator of any project is not 10 and 100, it's 2 and 100, because it's the smallest action point we can make, and that is the cleansing. That is where we start. I want you to understand, what is your project? What can you throw a PERT diagram to have a blink of an eye, knowing a start and a stop? Identify milestones, determine sequence of activity, construct network diagram, estimate the time necessary, and identify the critical path. And then what is it that is the pin you pull out of the grenade that starts it all, this least common denominator? And in my diagram, my PERT diagram this morning, it was deconstruct, start from the beginning, and I have to cleanse myself. I have to cleanse the whole process, or nothing would work in my morning PERT diagram routine. Well, listen, this was comical in some regards, but I know it was healthy. I know this can change your life. I know this will save your life. This will keep you healthy. This will move you through the project phase. Listen, I'm your coach. I'm your mentor. I want to be in your life. I want to be willing to just make myself a little foolish to make some points, because I don't care. I'm at that point, man. I don't care. All I want you is healthy, profitable, spirit-filled, and generous to others. All I want you to do is learn from these silly little shows that I do every morning, Monday through Friday, almost without fail, because I am your committed coach. take this PERT diagram, put it in your life today. I want you to exercise it. I want some comments on this. I want Monday, when we talk about this again, I want some people popping in here saying, Todd, I used this PERT mentality. I was out there. I took your thing to the next level. It made me feel better. Come on now, somebody. God bless you guys. Next week, big week. We're going to start talking about our Tiki Hut virtual. It's going to be coming up October 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Right here. It's all a free. I said free. Get on the Zoom. Get on the stream. Whatever we're going to do, we're going to have you. God bless you guys. Have a great day. Remember, the ultimate least common denominator in any PERT diagram is to cleanse. God bless you guys. We got this thing called life.